All right, Ziggy, our second video of this Friday, reacting to some of the big stories in the NFL from last night and this morning. And the one, obviously, the one that got our attention is this Vikings Texans little love affair here with swapping players, swapping picks. First, it was Jonathan Grenard signed to the Vikings, Danielle Hunter over to the Texans, and now a pretty big deal where the Vikings get pick number 23, a first rounder in the draft. They also receive pick 232, and they're sending over 42, 188, and a second rounder in 2025. And, there's no sugarcoating it. You don't have to. This is very clearly signals that the Vikings are going all in, and I'm pretty pumped about it. How about you?
Yeah, it's you only make a trade like this if you are planning to use these picks to move up and already have a deal at least kind of in place, right? Because the best time to trade for a pick is draft night because you
Mhm.
know every single player who's available. But right now, yeah, Minnesota, as you said, they gave up quite a bit for this. They gave up two first rounders, or excuse me, two second rounders in order to go up into the first round. But I'm excited about it, right? Clearly, they have a plan here. They're not going to be complacent at quarterback. They recognize that 12 is not going to be enough to get the guy. And they didn't give up any future first round picks. So they still have all of that available, whether they want to use it to try and move high or to save them for the future. There's plenty of possibilities here for the Vikings, but just seeing them do something a little bit different gets me excited.
No,
No
I,
question
I've
about it.
loved how aggressive they've been this entire offseason. It's when you lose your starting quarterback, and Kirk was great for 6 years, but it was just time to move on. A lot of teams sometimes can just sit around and hope their guy falls to them. I like the aggressive nature, and it actually fits in. I feel like I've really kind of nailed. At least I've had a good pulse on what the Vikings are thinking. I don't know why. I could still be very wrong, but after we let Kirk go, I was okay. Sam Darnold's the logical option next. We both agreed on that, and the thought process is that Kwesi saying to O'Connell, "Hey, pick your guy." Assuming as long as it's not Caleb, pick your guy, and we're gonna go get him. Now, of course, it depends on what Washington does it too. If the Vikings say Drake May's their guy, and Washington loves Drake May, there's nothing we can do there. But anyone else really is on the table, and a move like this makes me think they're going to swing for the fences. Yeah, I'm. My guess is that they're going to go up to three with the trade to the Patriots and get Daniels or Drake May and give them these two first rounds and next year's first round pick and just go all in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what quarterbacks available and what moves they have in mind. I've been high on Drake May for a little over a year now.
Yeah,
So there's definitely a possibility there. As you say, Jayden Daniels out of LSU is pretty good. But yeah, I'm making trades like this so early. You don't exactly know what you're getting. So the Vikings either have a clear plan in place and they have to be comfortable with either Daniels or May, or maybe they really like McCarthy. It's hard to know exactly what guy they have their eye on. But this is a move that clearly they think a lot of the quarterbacks in this draft are pretty good and have an idea of who they want to get.
would you be more surprised to see them trading up and going for Chase Daniels if he's there at three, or if they go up to five or six, probably five with the Chargers and drafted JJ McCarthy?
A lot of, the meat evaluating quarterbacks before the draft is always difficult, and the media
Oh yeah.
basically always gets it wrong. I mean, every year it feels like people are talking about this is going to be the first year quarterbacks go one, two, three, four, and they absolutely never do. Every single year it feels like it's a promised quarterback class. So you remember the Malik Willis hype?
Oh yeah, dude. Of course.
Yeah, so it can be difficult to evaluate. My guess is the Vikings have a deal in place with the Patriots. The
Okay.
Patriots don't feel super strongly about any of the quarterbacks because the Commanders and the Bears are obviously going quarterback. But the Patriots have signaled in various ways they might be willing to do something else. And the Vikings like one of those top three guys. I don't see you making this kind of move this early for JJ McCarthy. Though maybe we're wrong. McCarthy's seen as the
They
third.
might love him.
I've got a lot of concerns about Daniels' size. So
No,
I wouldn't be shocked to see him be the fourth quarterback off the board, but it's tough to know.
they might love JJ McCarthy, and part of the risk in a move like this is I'm assuming right now that they're gonna let's say they do go to number three and they give the two first this year and the first next year. That means the Vikings have only fourth rounders and on this in this draft. And the following year, so right now they have 2 firsts, 2 fourths, a fifth, 2 sixths, and a seventh. Next year, they already traded the second away. If you trade the first as well, we're talking about a Vikings team that is very limited in terms of draft capital. I need to check. I don't think we currently have any other first or second round picks over the next 2 years. But if you do swing for the fences, which is part of the game, you got to take your shots at some points. We're talking about a team with very limited first 3 round capital going forward. So they got to hit on whoever it is, or it's going to be a tough road for the next few years in Minnesota. So, of course, there's risk that comes with such a move, but I'm willing to sign up for it because you have to, right? Yeah, like you're
It's
happy about
better
it.
than the risk of not going for a guy, staying where you are, and finding yourself in a situation where a team like the Steelers is, right? They
Yeah.
don't ever take that kind of a risk. And that means, they were excited when Kenny Pickett fell to him, but they weren't the guy. And otherwise, besides Ben, who was great, they've really struggled to replace the quarterback. So it can go wrong, right? Absolutely. I mean, you look at where Carolina is and it doesn't look great. You look at the carousel the Jets have been on, and that's not great. But if you're not willing to lose a bunch of games, you have to take these kinds of risks. And I think people over exaggerate the risk a little bit. I mean, what you're missing out on is 2 years of draft picks to take your one guy, right?
Yeah.
You're giving up your first and seconds in 2024 and 2025. That's not that much. I get that it's a fair amount of players and there's a lot of opportunity there, but it's not like it was a guarantee those picks were going to hit anyway. And it's just 2 years of your top of the drafts. Now, if the Vikings end up giving 3 years, that's a different story. I start to get a little bit more nervous. But clearly, they're trying to manage how much future draft capital they give up.
That was something I was really happy to see is that now with this pick, we probably, assuming you have to give up 3 firsts to get up to 3. I really did not want to jeopardize 3 years worth of draft picks. So if they just load up and say, "Hey, we're willing to sacrifice the next 2 years of the draft for an attempt at a franchise quarterback," I'm okay with that. And I've always held this belief. Maybe it's wrong as I'm thinking about it internally at the moment, but when you have your guy, you just got to go for him. I'd rather swing and miss on like someone we truly believe in than sit there at 11 and say, yeah, like I guess we'll take Penix or Nix later if we trade back and McCarthy's there. Like if you love your guy, go get him. Now the counter to that is, well, the Giants love Daniel Jones, the Bears love Mitch Trubisky, the Browns loved Baker Mayfield. So yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
but
always work
there's
out.
no alternative, right? I mean, you look
There's
at
no
these
alternative.
AFC quarterbacks and you look at the guys in the top. It's very rare that a top 5, top 10 quarterback makes it past the first 10 picks of the first round. It happens, right? People are going to say, well, it happened with Lamar Jackson, it happened with Brock Purdy, it happened with Jordan
Where's
Love.
Mahomes?
And
Is he
it
10, 11?
does. It was I think it was 10, maybe it was 11, but it was right around there.
But also a
But
situation where Reed really liked Mahomes, traded up for him. When you have your
yeah,
guy, go get him.
yeah, there's no other way to get an elite quarterback realistically. So you do your best, you take the guy you take, and if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, we'll move on and try again. But we're
The
not doing the Kirk Cousins thing anymore. And that's that.
the thing that the one thing you said to me earlier today that did get my attention was perhaps like, and this is of course hypothetical here. We're just having fun with it at this point. But the Chargers are kind of in a fire sale right now. Keenan Allen's gone. Mike Williams is gone. Austin Eckler's gone. There's not a lot on that offense right now. I don't want to steal your thunder. What was the move that you, if I haven't hinted enough, that you think could potentially in a crazy world happen?
Yeah, there's a certain head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers, a certain Harbaugh, and he's on the record saying he thinks JJ McCarthy is the best quarterback of the draft, should go number one, is going to be an NFL star for his
Hmm.
career. Well, boy, if you've really got an opportunity to get a guy is going to be a star on that rookie deal, and the Vikings are willing to give you a bunch of first round picks and you can stay there and take him, who needs Justin Herbert? Who needs that giant deal? You can just go and take your JJ McCarthy, run the kind of offense you ran at Michigan at won you a national championship. The Chargers actually could trade Justin Herbert. It would have to be a trade post June 1, and they'd take a monstrous cap hit next year, but they could actually do this. Will they do this? Absolutely not. There's no chance this happens. But if I'm Kwesi and I see these lines, I'm at least picking up the phone and I'm making sure that they're
Oh,
not
dude.
interested in trading Herbert for JJ McCarthy. Because if the Vikings get Justin Herbert, I'm buying that jersey right now.
Could you
Instant
imagine?
lock. We're winning a Super
Oh,
Bowl, game over.
could you
Justin
imagine
Herbert
adding
and
him?
Justin Jefferson.
And not just Jefferson, Hawkinson, Addison, now Aaron Jones. I mean, next year the NFC North is going to be would be loaded. Caleb, Goff, Jordan Love, and Justin Herbert. I mean, oh my gosh, yeah. No, I don't want to think about it too much because it's
It's
so
never
out
gonna
there and
happen.
never
But
going to
isn't it a
happen.
fun fantasy?
Oh, the
It's a
fantasy is
dream.
insane.
Harbaugh's
26-year-old
just
Herbert.
crazy enough to do it.
Harbaugh, look, I think it's unbelievably unlikely, but there's enough of a possibility where I go, it will be fun. It's like I could see it
We're
just
not talking
way
about the
off
Chiefs
and
trading
way out there.
Mahomes.
No, and I mean, look, this team is a ways from winning in the Chargers right now. A lot to do on that offense, but that's what's so great about having a quarterback like Justin Herbert is you're actually probably a little closer than it seems. If you get a few weapons here or there, he's good enough to make lemonade out of any lemon. So it's fun to think about, though. Fun to
Well,
think
you can
about.
go back and watch our video of the Bears and see that, in fact, this is precisely what Herbert will have to do next year because he just lost a major star on the offense.
Yeah.
But that's not for this video.
All right, we'll wrap it up here. Remember, please like, comment, subscribe. Go check out our March Madness bracket. Link will be in the description for how to join. Free piece of merch for whoever wins that pool and free to enter, of course. So we'll have a lot of fun with that. And thanks for everyone who is listening. We'll see you on the next episode.